Yeah.
Hello, hello. All right, so without further ado, my name is David. I'm honored to be moderating this panel today. As a quick introduction of myself, I used to lead global strategy and investments at Huobi for 4 years, hence why I'm moderating a panel of this group of individuals monitoring the centralized exchange space. I now run a VC investing in early stage pre-seed and seed startups based out of New York. So without further ado, why don't we kick it off on intros?
Okay, my name is Lennox. I'm the global CCO of OKX.
Hello, Taipei. My name is Damien. I'm from the global partnership team of Binance, mainly responsible for collaborating with public sector and also large corporate, especially from TradFi and Web2 space.
Hello, this is Alicia. I'm Managing Director of KuCoin. And now my focus will be strategic partnership. So welcome to contact me if you got any idea to work with us.
I'm from Biget, Grace C. Chen. I look after marketing, branding, and PR. And a new role is also around listing and institutional investors.
Yeah, so thank you guys for the introductions here. And I think as the audience here will be probably wondering, as we kick off to a new bull market, what are some of the things that you guys are excited about and how are regulations affecting sort of the current landscape as your exchange operates in the global markets?
Yeah, I think that's actually two questions, but yeah. The thing that's exciting to me is mostly related to the several area of development. So first is surprisingly the Bitcoin related ecosystem and ETH layer 2 ecosystem is actually spark off. That's actually come with a surprise. I think not just OKX perspective, but on the industry perspective. We can see lots of very huge technological developments on layer 2 solution and the direct engagement with zero knowledge proof. So yeah, so on technological perspective, we are reaching a corner, I think a really critical threshold that's where our underlying technologies can actually hit massive adoption in terms of adoption rates. The other exciting part, probably Binance's exciting part, is the clarity of global regulators, meaning that I think around a year ago, or 1.5 years ago, about majority of regulators don't really pay a lot of attention on a lot of core idea how to craft their related regulation in terms of crypto. After 1 year of developments of different kind of scenario, most of the regulations are clear, and we know exactly what we need to do, and we know exactly what we cannot do. So that give us a lot of advantage in terms of developing our what we call the compliance product internally. That's exciting because once we got compliance, you're literally raising your bar, similar with the financial firm. So we literally have a seamless transaction between TradFi and CryptoFi.
Let's go in order.
I agree with Lennox. I think if we have to sum up 2023 in a word, I would use the word progress, both in terms of some of the technology development and also in terms of regulatory. And as Lennox mentioned, we appreciate greater regulatory clarity because it will allow exchange to navigate through the regulatory environment to know what to do, what not to do. But at the same time, I think Asia also possesses a unique challenge compared with other regions. Because if you look at North America, essentially it's just US and Canada. And if you look at Europe, although there are many different countries, but they have like MiCA, European Union, so the harmonization of regulation between different markets will be quite consistent. While in Asia, each jurisdiction has its own regulatory landscape. So it also presents a challenge for the exchange to be able to adapt, to be flexible in order to cope with different regulatory requirements in different markets. And for Binance, I guess everyone is wondering Binance plan on the compliance front. Actually, for Binance, we did not just start our compliance program this year or 2 weeks ago. We started about more than 2 years ago. So as an international exchange, we are probably the first one to implement full KYC on all our users. and we have hired a lot of experienced professionals with compliance background. Right now, we have more than 500 staff in compliance function, and we have implemented multiple different eKYC, sanction program, and checking solutions to uphold our compliance standard. And to cope with different regulatory requirements across different jurisdictions, we have also launched several local platforms in Japan, in Bahrain, in UAE, and soon to be launched in Thailand. So we are also quite experienced in terms of being flexible to cope with different requirements in different jurisdictions. So I would think that actually regulatory landscape involvement, the biggest impact is that it will double, if not triple, the overall adoption. Because for the general public, it's very important for them to feel safe, feel trust from the regulators' protection, and also from the centralized exchange that they interact with.
Okay, so I think a centralized exchange, when we want to work longer, we want to to make sure that our business will be long lasting. And I think all of us, we are doing the same thing, that is to make sure that we're gonna fit the requirements of those local regulators. So I think it's a good thing that we can see that the regulations are getting clear, and those regulators, they got know more about the market and also the industry. And when we got new progress of our compliance infrastructure, we launched the new KYC system, we always could get positive feedback from all of our users and all of the institutional clients, and positive feedbacks from the market. So I think it would be always good thing that things getting clear. Yeah.
So David asked two questions. Number one is what are we excited for? And number two is regulation. So I'll answer them one by one. What am I personally excited for 2024? This is end of the year, so a good time to do an outlook. I think there are three trends that are very important, and that can be the catalyst for the 24 bull market. Number one, the approval of spot ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF. Actually, a few months ago in Singapore, we had another panel, and I keep saying that I think spot ETF's approval is not a matter of whether or not, it's just a matter of when. And right now, it's even clearer. Maybe January, soonest, the spot ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF, once it's approved by SEC, that means lots of institutional money and high net worth individual and pension funds, etc., they can invest in Bitcoin. And that's a very important event for our industry. And the second catalyst is the US interest rate hike. When does that stop? And right now, the interest rate is around 5% plus, which is really high. Imagine this is for T-bill. And once that goes down, again, the money will flow from the bigger monetary market to more riskier assets such as equity and then cryptocurrency. So that's another catalyst that we are paying close attention to. And the third catalyst is what happened in our industry, like Bitcoin halving, like Cancun upgrade in Ethereum. So these are more towards crypto or blockchain industry that I think may happen or will happen in 24, and also very important for driving the next bull market. And those are the things that I'm personally very excited for. And then the second question, regulations. So Demian mentioned MiCAR. Again, I think I agree with that. Like European, EU has been very, very moving forward, and they are actually quite advanced in terms of coming up with regulations around blockchain. And MiCA is by far the most complicated, not most complicated, but most complete framework that we see in the industry. And actually not just blockchain industry, but also AI industry. Not sure if you know, 4 or 5 days ago, actually EU came up with the world's first AI law. It's called EU AI Act. So it seems that Europe has been quite advanced in coming up with regulations around that. And for centralized exchange, I guess we are not afraid or not comfortable with rigid regulation. What we are now comfortable with is unclear regulations, which is what we see in certain countries, such as the US. Like even SEC, CFTC, they don't agree with each other on things like Ethereum, whether that's a security or commodity. So that's the kind of regulation ambiguity that we are observing.
All right, thank you for all the great input here. And on to my next question is really, during my days at Huobi, our goal is really to put digital assets in front of as many people as possible and make it accessible to some of the best assets in the space. So as sort of executives in your own exchanges, what does the sort of listing process look like, and sort of any additional insights you want to share on sort of how you evaluate different projects going forward? Want to start with Lennox?
Yeah, evaluation of different projects always come up. We have a relatively transparent standard in between, but I think the general matrix would be we pick based on category. So I think listing projects most likely what we call one of the stage of incubation events. So if you're the top tier project in particular category, the matrix should be relatively dynamically adjust versus the other category. For example, if you're top tier project in certain GameFi projects, right? Your matrix that related, for example, like volume, liquidity, user number address that you're holding, should be very, very different than whatever the user matrix in DeFi project, for example. I think all exchange, including OKX, evaluate different kind of logic within similar time thing. I think the ultimate purpose of evaluation is whether or not with your matrix that can prove that particular project that you're working on, you have a real prototype, you have a real product, you have real user, you have real traction that you're showing, and also you have real problem that you're fixing. Then we're starting to identify whether your project is categorized in different kind of category, and we compare with other matrix versus the other projects. So I think that is how the listing process is done. And before that, I think the projects or whatever projects, I think you can start working with other function with OKX. For example, our layer one chain, our layer 2 chain X1, and also our wallet integration. Then we can start to kick off some business integration within the OKX ecosystem. We can see real numbers keep ticking, keep tracking. Then it's also helpful for the listing process.
Okay, so on coin listing, first of all, I'm not responsible for coin listing. And if you ask any like Binance staff like you meet, I think 10 out of 10 will tell you that he or she is not responsible for it. If someone says he or she is responsible for it, better check his identity first before get into next level discussion. But as I have discussed with some regulator on our coin listing policy, I've seen that internally we have like a long list of questionnaire covering like 8 to 10 different dimensions, from product, technology, roadmap, team, governance, tokenomics, community, etc., etc. But if I have to boil down to 3 key things, I would say it will be product, community, and also team. These are essentially the 3 most important criteria that we will evaluate whether to list a coin or a project or not. So, but I mean, coin listing just at the beginning, right? We also expect the team, after the coin being listed, will continue working closely with Binance and also with your community to develop the product according to your roadmap and continue to engage with your community. Because essentially, I think we're trying to do like more sustainable long-term business with our customer and also with different project teams.
Okay, there are actually 2 objectives for us. for listing projects on our platform. So first one would be, we want to make sure that we could support those like valuable projects that to approach the mass market of the crypto industry. Because for now we got like 30 millions of users, and we want to make sure that they could approach them in a good way. And in other side, we also want to make sure that we could help our user that to find like the crypto gems, like the undervalued new projects. And meanwhile, we need to protect them from like lose their assets. So we got like very strict criteria to do the due diligence to each projects we're gonna list. So I think the key would be to listen to the market, also the regulators, like make sure that you're not gonna piss them off, and to make sure that you could catch the trendy topic in the market, that to make sure that you are gonna have a good use cases in the market. And also there are like lots of scammers like from everywhere. They pretend they're from us, and they will ask you the projects to pay them first, and we're gonna list. But we just launched a new product on our platform that to help those projects to avoid to get scammed from those like bad people. So if you want to apply to list on our platform, you could visit our asset hub that to make sure that you're like going through the right channel, and you could check the process of your applications on our platform directly. Yeah.
I guess exchanges list coins more or less by similar metrics, such as good team, good, not just the founding team, but also investment team. Look at their profile, what are the past projects that they did, and what's the pattern? Are they like pump and dump kind of tokens, etc.? And then maybe on product, certain statistics. But one thing we do very specifically that my listing team actually work with our research team on coins to be listed. What I mean by that is the listing team will talk to the projects directly and get lots of information from them. But for example, things like user data like DAU, things like on-chain wallet addresses, those, or even Twitter space followers, right? Twitter followers or like Discord community users. All this data, we collect them, but we also dig really deep to understand whether those are real data or not. And as you know, things like Twitter followers, you can easily buy dead fans and just to add in the number, but it doesn't mean that you really have that many users or people who care about this project. So our research team will dig very deep about these projects and really see the on-chain online transactions and the online on-chain wallets. We use tools like DAO Analytics to look at each project and come up with certain frameworks. Say, if this is a good project, yes, we want to list them. And if this is not, we don't. And also, even if those projects are listed, we monitor the project's behavior very closely. Let me give you a story. People love stories. So this is a very, very like personal story that literally just happened to me earlier this year. So one day I was having a meeting, and then my phone was like lots of Twitter tags on my account, and they were saying, Biget is the next FTX, things like that. And they said, Gracie is the next SBF. I'm like, what happened here? So I asked my team, please find out what's happening here. Because I was in a meeting, so I literally just like scanned through it. What? And then we realized that it's actually a project who did pump and dump, and our race control team froze their account, and then they start to spread FUD about us on Twitter, on all sorts of like Telegram, on all sorts of social medias. And indeed, we later, talk to the project, find out what happened, solve the problem. But that's the kind of things that we will do when we observe a project that is really doing, bad behavior, and we take measures to protect our users. By the way, I'm not the next Sam.
Let's hope not. Yeah, so as sort of what we saw in 2020, DeFi Summer really came about. So we'd love to learn a little bit more about sort of what your view on sort of decentralized technologies, and if you have any new initiatives for DeFi plays in your exchange.
Yeah, the DeFi, I think that the previous DeFi Summer is actually driven by, in my view, is driven by, I think, a second stage of the bull market. The bullish market come first, and the bull market drive the over leverage of the market, and the over leverage the market drive of the position, open position within the market, and also that open position drive of the deviation between spot price and also the derivative price, and that particular gap is the implied interest rate to the central exchanges, also to the decentralized finance. So by that time, we can see a lot. I would imagine there were a lot of different kind of APY projects with huge APY, but if you distill the backbone of the APY generally because it is driven by margin trading within different kind of ecosystem, central exchange versus decentralized exchanges, decentralized finance. So would that happen again? Probably yes, because APY, high API is extractive, and also high API will actually drive down the TVL or lots of different kind of, especially defined projects, because of the valuation of the token, and also a lot more people will be stick in DeFi protocol because of the high attractiveness of the high APY. But people need to remember again that it's always driven by probably the second stage of the bullish market. So I would say DeFi Summer probably come again. Probably we will see new DeFi projects popping up. Probably we can see a record high of TVL to the total value loss again. But I won't surprise to see that again. But whether or not we would do better in terms of the underlying technology, for example, better liquidation engine, better off and off-chain mechanism so that the price discovery project within borrowing lending protocol and DeFi will be better, or having similar experience with central exchanges. I think that's the new DeFi trend or narrative that we can see probably next year.
Yeah, I think DeFi certainly has a lot of potential. Even our former CEO said like he would spend more time to study DeFi. And with DeFi, usually you have a smaller team, which can be like more nimble and maybe more focused, fast to the market. And so I do think that a lot of innovation can come from DeFi in the future. But also DeFi has its challenges as well, because we talked about regulatory landscape earlier, but we also seen that in some of the markets, regulators are also paying attention to DeFi because of its anonymous nature and also its vulnerability to hacker and also potential like some of the security threat. So we do think that CeFi can work closely with DeFi and then provide maybe so-called CDeFi model to apply some of our experience with the security regulatory requirement to support this DeFi project to get more adoption and more acceptance from the government to push it to the more general public. Because we do believe that to advance the Web3 space, we don't have to be the one to innovate. We can also be the platform or enabler to innovation of the Web3 application.
Yeah, I agree with them because I think as a centralized exchange, we are taking like different responsibility to the market. For now, we are more focusing on the mass adoption. We need to make sure that we put most of our efforts to protect our users from like from losing their assets, and we want to make sure that we could lower the barrier to help them to jump into this whole new world. So we do love those like innovations, technologies, and we are supporting those decentralized projects as well, because we know that the core concept of blockchain is actually decentralized. So as a centralized exchange, we are trying to play like a better role in this industry, and meanwhile we don't want to miss those like cool or new things in the industry. So the way that we like participate the decentralized world is like we got our own products that to help our users to easily participate those like DeFi projects, and to also get the returns, the reasonable returns from those DeFi protocols. And then we also support those decentralized ecosystem. Like we just announced, we're going to collaborate with ton foundations to help those like new developer teams to explore their business on their blockchains. So for now, we do have like different focuses like between than those decentralized projects. But I think we got the same goal, is to make sure that we could protect our users, and to make sure that we could help this industry getting better together in any ways.
Yeah, all the centralized exchanges are exploring DeFi solutions. I know OKX and us, we actually had our own Web3 wallets long time ago, like last year. And Binance, they bought Trust Wallet many years ago, and they also announced their Binance Web3 wallet. And KuCoin is exploring the Tom Foundation. I'm very excited to see that coming true. And when you see why are we doing this, it's quite, sometimes it's quite subtle, but it's also quite straightforward. What I mean by that is, when centralized exchange, especially after FTX collapse, many people kind of lose faith about SEX, about centralized exchange, and they turn to DeFi DEX. But actually, many DEX, in terms of user experience, it's actually quite hard, especially for new users. So new users still want or need that kind of silk smoothie user experience. In Chinese, it's like 丝滑的体验 that people really need, right? And when it goes to, like when you are a more professional trader or user, you may explore DEX and you know how to custody your own wallets and do swap, buy some smaller altcoins, things like that. So there is a map, like many people will still be onboarded on SEX, on centralized exchange, and then maybe do some experiment or exploration around DEX. And what we do, and that's like what I mentioned, like we are also, like as centralized exchange, we're also having this kind of marriage or partnership with the DEX. So I guess that's the trend that will still coming. We will definitely see more of those things happening in 2025 and beyond, for 2024 beyond.
Right. So mentioning of 2024 and beyond, so quick 30-second answers. What is sort of your outlook for the future of the crypto market going forward? And
quickly is, I think we already passed the worst scenario of the market. So right now leverage is relatively healthy. We got a lot more positive energy within the next year expectation markets, better interest rate, Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin ecosystem, layer 2 breakthrough, regulation clarity, banking reopen. So probably we can see 80K, 100K, right. Yeah, US dollar, yeah, probably.
for ETH?
I hope so.
Well, I don't predict a price, but I will just say positivity for 2024.
I think I got like quite confident about the coming years, because I've joined your company for like over about like 5 years, and I could see that our users are like, they're like more educated, and they are like getting like more care about what's going on in the market and what's happening in the industry, and they care like more about the technologies, not only about the prices. So I think it's getting healthier. So yeah, I got quite confidence.
Yeah, I also think to make a metaphor, it's probably like the weather in Taipei. It's going to be sunny. So 24, I also agree that we probably have passed the coldest crypto winter in 2022 when FTX collapse happened. And then last year, we've seen, Bitcoin has been always pretty much on this upward trend until today, about traded, Bitcoin price is traded at 44-ish, 44,000, around that. And next year, we will see more sunny days.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for us. Thank you guys for the great discussion, and thank you to the audience for being good.
Thank you.